somewhere in the world right now. A horse is standing in a field with a coat that looks like it was poured from liquid metal. Somewhere else, another moves through a misty marsh at dawn, ghost white, as if it stepped straight out of a legend. For more than 5,000 years, humans have shaped these animals into something that sits between a living creature and a work of art. We have bred them for war, for kings, for the desert, for the frozen north, and along the way, we created some of the most breathtaking animals ever to walk the earth. But here is what most people never realize. Some of the breeds you are about to see number fewer than a few hundred animals on the entire planet. Others carry bloodlines so ancient they were already old when Rome was young. A few possess features so strange and so beautiful that the first time you see them, you will not quite believe they are real. Today, we are counting down the 15 most beautiful and rare horses on Earth, traveling from the mountain valleys of Austria to the deserts of Central Asia. We will meet a horse the size of a large dog, a horse with ears that curve until they touch, and a horse whose coat, quite literally, shines like gold. Stay with us all the way to number 1, because the final horse on this list has been called, again and again, the most beautiful animal ever bred by human hands. Before we begin, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from right now. We want to see how many countries this video reaches. Number 15. Haflinger, Austria. High in the Tyrolean mountains, on the border between Austria and northern Italy, the Haflinger was created to work slopes so steep that heavier horses simply could not climb them. This is a mountain horse in the truest sense, and its story is unusually intimate. Every single Haflinger alive today traces back to one foundation stallion named 249 Foley, born in 1874. That means the entire breed, spread now across the world, is really one enormous extended family descended from a single animal. What makes them unforgettable is the color. The body is a warm chestnut that ranges from pale honey gold to deep liver red, but the mane and tail are always a flowing flaxen white. Against a green alpine meadow under a blue sky, the effect is almost cinematic. They stand only around 13 to 15 hands high, small and compact, yet they are famous for being nearly impossible to knock off balance. For centuries, these horses carried food, timber, and supplies along narrow mountain paths where a single misstep meant a fall of hundreds of feet. And they did it calmly, sure-footed, generation after generation, in weather that would send other animals running for shelter. Beyond their looks, Haflingers are prized for their temperament. They are gentle, patient, endlessly hardy, and willing to work, which is why families across Europe still keep them today for everything from farm work to gentle riding for children. The Haflinger is a perfect way to open this list because it reminds us of something important. In the horse world, beauty and usefulness were never meant to be separate things. They were bred, quite deliberately, into the very same animal. Number 14. Fjord Horse. Norway. The fjord horse is one of the oldest breeds in the entire world, and one look tells you exactly why. This is very close to what a wild, prehistoric horse would have looked like thousands of years ago. And that resemblance is no accident at all. Cave carvings, burial sites, and archaeological finds suggest that horses like these were being tamed in Norway more than 4,000 years ago. Almost every fjord horse is a shade of dun, a soft golden brown, and nearly all of them carry a dark stripe running straight down the center of the back. That marking, called a dorsal stripe, is a primitive trait inherited directly from the wild horses of the Ice Age. Many also show faint zebra-like stripes on their legs, another echo of their ancient past. But the signature detail, the thing you will remember, is the mane. It is thick and coarse and stands straight up like a crest along the neck. Norwegian owners traditionally cut it into a crescent shape so that the black inner hair stands slightly taller than the pale silver outer hair, creating a striped, sculpted look found on no other horse. The Vikings rode and bred these animals over 1,000 years ago, using them both as war mounts and as steady farm workers, and they were carried by ship to settle new lands. Now here is the part that surprises people. A horse this ancient and this powerful is also one of the most good-natured breeds on the planet. Despite their muscular, stocky build, fjords are calm, patient, and remarkably safe to handle, which is why they remain beloved on farms and riding centers across Scandinavia to this very day. Number 13. Falabella, Argentina. On the wide-open plains of Argentina, a family named Falabella spent generations creating something the world had genuinely never seen: a horse small enough to walk through your front door. The Falabella is one of the smallest horse breeds on Earth, standing usually between just 28 and 34 inches at the shoulder. That is roughly the height of a large dog. But here is the crucial thing that most people get wrong. A Falabella is not a pony. Everything about it, from its slender proportions to its bone structure to the shape of its head, is that of a full-sized horse, simply shrunk down through more than a century of careful, patient breeding that began back in the mid-1800s. They are genuinely rare, with only a few thousand registered animals in the entire world, and that rarity makes each one valuable. They come in nearly every color and pattern a full-sized horse can have, including spotted coats, shimmering silver dapples, and pintos, which only adds to their charm. Because they were never bred to carry riders or pull loads, their whole purpose is different. They were bred to be companions, and they bond with people in a way that feels almost like a dog. They are intelligent, curious, and affectionate, and many owners keep them simply for the joy of their company. Would you keep a horse in your backyard if it were this small and this gentle? Around the world, thousands of people already do. And here is a final surprise. Despite their tiny size, Falabellas are tough and long-lived, often reaching 40 years of age or more, far outliving most of their full-sized cousins. Number 12. Knabstrupper, Denmark. If a leopard and a horse could somehow share a single coat, the result would look a great deal like the Knabstrupper. This dramatic Danish breed was founded in 1812, and remarkably, it traces back to one spotted mare named Flaberhoppen, whose unusual coat pattern proved strong enough to pass down through the generations. The classic Knabstrupper is covered from head to tail in dark spots scattered across a white or cream base, so that no two individuals are ever marked exactly the same way. Some carry a full leopard pattern across the entire body, others show spots concentrated over the hind quarters, and each one is, in effect, unique. In the 1800s, these horses were so eye-catching that they became stars of the circus and the parade ground all across Europe, precisely because a crowd simply could not look away from them. Imagine a spotted horse performing under lights while thousands of people watch, unable to believe the pattern is real and not painted on. But that fame came with a price. The breed nearly disappeared more than once, as breeders chasing the spots sometimes weakened the horse. And today, the pure, well-marked Knabstrupper remains genuinely rare. Dedicated breeding programs now work carefully to preserve the coat pattern while keeping the horse healthy, athletic, and sound. Beyond the spectacle of that coat, these are willing, capable animals used in dressage, jumping, and driving. Yet it is impossible to talk about a Knabstrupper for long without returning to that extraordinary coat, a natural canvas that looks hand-painted by an artist, and yet is entirely, astonishingly, the work of genetics alone. Number 11. Icelandic horse, Iceland. For more than 1,000 years, the nation of Iceland has protected its horses with a law so strict it borders on the absolute. Once an Icelandic horse leaves the island, for any reason, it can never return, and no outside horses are allowed onto the island at all. This has kept the breed genetically pure since the Vikings first carried these animals across the wild North Atlantic around the 9th and 10th centuries, making it one of the most isolated and unaltered breeds on the entire planet. Because of that isolation, Icelandic horses have almost no exposure to many equine diseases, which is exactly why the country guards them so fiercely. They are small, standing pony-sized, with thick double coats and heavy, wind-blown manes that let them survive brutal Icelandic winters out in the open, with no barn and no shelter. But their true secret is hidden in the way they move. While most horses in the world have 4 natural gaits, the Icelandic horse has 5. It possesses a smooth, gliding running gait called the tolt, so comfortable that a rider barely bounces at all, and a flying pace so fast and so level that a skilled rider can carry a glass of water without spilling a drop. These horses are long-lived, sturdy, and famously friendly, and many stay healthy well into their 30s. In a country that has more waterfalls than towns, and where the landscape looks like the surface of another world, the Icelandic horse remains a living, breathing link straight back to the age of the Vikings and the old Norse sagas. Have you ever seen a horse gallop across black volcanic sand? On Iceland, it is simply an everyday sight. Number 10. Camargue horse. France. In the wetlands of southern France, where the mighty Rhone River spills out into the Mediterranean Sea, herds of ghost white horses run half-wild through the marshes. These are the Camargue horses, and they are so tied to the water that they are often simply called the horses of the sea. This is one of the oldest breeds in the world. They have lived in this exact salt marsh region for thousands of years, and some researchers believe they are direct descendants of prehistoric horses whose bones have been unearthed nearby. But here is the detail that catches everyone off guard. Every single Camargue horse is born black or dark brown. Only slowly, over the first years of life, does the dark coat lighten, shade by shade, until the fully grown adult stands a luminous, silvery grey-white. They live in semi-feral herds, wading through shallow salt water, enduring fierce wind, blazing summer heat, and clouds of biting insects, feeding on tough, salty marsh grass that would leave other horses hungry. For centuries, the local herdsmen, known as the Guardians, have ridden these hardy horses to manage the region's famous wild black bulls, keeping alive a cowboy culture that most of the world has never heard of. And the sight they create is unforgettable. Watching a herd of white Camargue horses thunder through shallow water at sunrise, spray flying up around their legs, manes streaming, is one of the most cinematic images in the entire animal kingdom. It is the kind of scene that looks staged for a film, and yet it happens naturally out in those marshes, again and again, with no cameras and no audience at all. Number 9. Black Forest Horse, Germany. Deep in the wooded hills of southwestern Germany lives a horse so rare that only a few hundred breeding mares remain in the entire world. This is the Black Forest horse, a small and powerful draft breed developed over roughly 600 years, and its color is its glory. The body is a rich, glowing chestnut that ranges from a dark chocolate to an almost fiery red, and it is crowned by a thick, heavy mane and tail of pale flaxen blonde. That striking contrast has earned the breed a beautiful nickname, the Pearl of the Black Forest. These horses were bred with a very specific job in mind. They hauled heavy loads of timber out of steep, cold, forested mountainsides, so they needed real pulling muscle combined with a calm, dependable, willing mind. And they delivered on both counts for centuries. But the 20th century nearly destroyed them. As tractors and machines replaced working horses across Europe, the demand for a forest draft horse collapsed, and the numbers of the Black Forest horse dropped to dangerously low levels. Today, the breed is officially classified as endangered, kept alive only by a small circle of dedicated German breeders who refuse to let this living piece of their forest heritage vanish forever. What makes them so special now is that rare balance. They are gentle and steady enough to be safe for beginners, yet strong enough to pull a plow through heavy soil. Beauty, rarity, and a fight for survival, all wrapped up together in the same glowing golden coat. When you see one, you are looking at a horse that very nearly disappeared from the world. Number 8. Gypsy Vanner, British Isles. The gypsy vanner looks like a horse that walked straight out of a fairy tale, and that impression is exactly what its creators intended. This breed was developed by the Romani travelers of Britain and Ireland to pull their brightly painted caravans along the roads of the countryside, and it was bred for a very particular combination of qualities: real strength, an exceptionally calm mind, and above all, spectacular good looks that would turn heads in every village they passed through. The result is unmistakable. A gypsy vanner is usually piebald, boldly patched in black and white, though other colors appear too, and it carries an almost unbelievable amount of hair. The mane and tail flow long, thick, and silky, but the truly jaw-dropping feature is the feathering. These are cascades of long, fine hair that spill down over the legs and cover the hooves like a waterfall of silk. As the horse trots forward, that feathering flies up and out with every step, and the effect is pure, undeniable drama. Now here is the wonderful contradiction at the heart of this breed. Despite their powerful, sturdy, cobby build, gypsy vanners are famous for having some of the gentlest, most people-loving temperaments of any horse. They are patient, affectionate, and trustworthy, which is exactly why they were bred to live close to families and children in the first place. As a formally recognized breed, the gypsy vanner is surprisingly young, gaining official status only in the 1990s, which means they are still relatively uncommon around the world. A well-marked vanner in full winter coat, feathers flowing, is one of the most photographed and most adored horses on the entire planet, and it is easy to see why. Number 7. Appaloosa, United States. Long before the Appaloosa had a name, the Nez Perce people of the American Northwest were already breeding spotted horses with remarkable skill and care. They selected for temperament, for toughness, and for that unmistakable pattern, developing herds admired across the region. When European settlers arrived, they named these horses after the Palouse River country where they were found, and over time the word softened into the name we use today. Appaloosa. What sets this breed apart is a coat pattern, unlike anything else in the horse world. The most famous version is the blanket, where the hindquarters are draped in a sheet of white scattered with dark, evenly spaced spots. But the patterns vary endlessly, from full leopard spots covering the entire body to delicate snowflake markings on a dark base. Look a little closer, and you will find 3 more clues that mark a true Appaloosa. There is skin mottled like camouflage around the muzzle, and eyes, striped hooves, and a visible white ring, called the sclera, around the eye, a feature most other horses simply do not show. But the story of this breed is not only beautiful, it is also heartbreaking. In the 1870s, after the Nez Perce were forced from their homelands, their great horse herds were scattered and deliberately broken up, and the breed came terrifyingly close to being lost forever. It was only in the 20th century that American breeders gathered the survivors and revived it. Today, the Appaloosa is one of the most popular breeds in the entire United States, beloved for its versatility and its striking looks. And every single spotted coat carries within it the memory of the people who first created this horse generations ago. Number 6. Marwari horse, India. In the deserts of Rajasthan, in northwestern India, the Marwari warrior clans bred a war horse so distinctive that you can identify it from a single feature: its ears. The tips of a Marwari's ears curve inward toward each other until they very nearly touch, and in many horses, they cross completely, forming a delicate, graceful arch found in no other breed anywhere in the world. For centuries, these horses carried armored warriors across scorching sand into battles that shaped the history of India. And the legends that grew around them are extraordinary. It was said that a true Marwari would never abandon a fallen rider, that it would stand guard over a wounded man on the battlefield, or carry him to safety through enemy lines. Whether every tale is literally true or not, they reveal how deeply these horses were trusted and how highly they were prized. The Marwari is elegant and refined, with a slender, athletic build suited to speed and endurance, and it often appears in striking colors, including coats with a faint metallic sheen that catches the desert light. For a very long time, the breed was so treasured within India that exporting a marwari abroad was effectively forbidden. That protection kept the breed rare and largely unknown to the rest of the world, which only deepened its mystique. Bred for loyalty, courage, and endurance, and instantly marked by those unforgettable curving ears, the marwari is one of the most exotic and recognizable horses in existence. Would you be able to spot this horse in a crowd? Once you have seen those inward curving ears, the answer is always yes. You never forget them. Number 5. Andalusian, Spain. For more than 4 centuries, the Andalusian has been considered the royal horse of Europe, the mount that kings and emperors chose to be painted riding, the horse of conquerors and of courts. Bred on the Iberian Peninsula in the region of Andalusia in southern Spain, this ancient and noble breed is a living vision of controlled power. Most Andalusians are a brilliant grey, so pale that they often appear pure white, and they carry long, thick, wavy manes and tails that ripple and flow with every movement. But it is the way they move that truly stops people in their tracks. An Andalusian carries itself with a proud, elevated, almost dancing stride. It arches its neck, lifts its legs high, and moves as though performing for an audience that only it can see. This natural grace and collection made the breed the very foundation of classical dressage, the highest and most refined form of horse training in the world, still practiced today in the famous royal riding schools of Europe. And there is real substance beneath the beauty. Andalusians are strong, agile, and deeply intelligent, and for centuries they were prized not just for ceremony, but as formidable war horses, brave and responsive under pressure. They also became the ancestors of many horse breeds throughout the Americas, carried across the ocean during the age of exploration. When you close your eyes and picture a magnificent horse rearing up against a dramatic sky, mane flying, nostrils flared, muscles gleaming, there is a very good chance that the animal in your imagination is an Andalusian. It is, quite simply, the horse the human mind reaches for when it thinks of glory. Number 4. Arabian horse, Arabian Peninsula. Here is a fact that puts this next breed in a category all its own. Nearly every riding horse alive on Earth today carries at least a trace of Arabian blood somewhere in its lineage. That makes the Arabian the single most influential horse breed in all of history. Developed by the Bedouin people of the Arabian Peninsula over 4,500 years ago, the Arabian was shaped in the harshest desert on the planet to be far more than transportation. It was a companion of the tribe, so treasured that prized mares were sometimes brought inside the family tent at night to keep them safe from raiders and from the cold. That extraordinary closeness with humans over thousands of years shaped a horse of remarkable intelligence, sensitivity, and loyalty. And the Arabian is instantly recognizable. It has a delicate, dished face that curves gently inward, huge, dark, expressive eyes set wide apart, small, curved ears, a high and proudly arching tail, and a floating, effortless way of moving that seems to defy gravity. But beneath that refined, almost dainty beauty lies astonishing toughness. Arabians completely dominate the sport of endurance racing, capable of covering 100 miles across brutal terrain in a single day, outlasting far larger horses. Their bodies even carry a physical signature of their unique origin. Many Arabians have one fewer vertebra and one fewer pair of ribs than most other breeds, giving them their distinctive, short, strong back. Elegant, ancient, impossibly enduring, and endlessly influential. The Arabian is the great fountainhead from which so many of the world's finest breeds were born. To look at an Arabian is to look at the source of the entire modern horse. Number 3. Lipizzaner, Slovenia. Born dark and turning white with age, the Lipizzaner is a horse bred across the centuries for a single, demanding purpose: perfection itself. The breed was founded in 1580 and takes its name from the village of Lipica, in what is now Slovenia. Over time, it became the legendary star of the world-famous Spanish riding school in Vienna, where it still performs the most difficult movements in all of horsemanship to this day. And here is the detail that surprises nearly everyone. Lipizzaner foals are not born white at all. They come into the world dark, usually black or deep grey, and only gradually lighten over the course of 6 to 10 years, until the mature adult stands a gleaming, polished white. A Lipizzaner that stays dark into adulthood is so rare that tradition holds each generation should keep at least one dark horse for good luck. These are compact, muscular, and extraordinarily intelligent animals, and they are trained patiently over many years to perform the legendary airs above the ground. These are astonishing leaps and hovering movements, some of which were once used to intimidate and strike down enemies in battle. The breed's survival is itself a dramatic story. During the Second World War, the Lipizzaners came so close to being lost that an American general launched a daring secret mission specifically to rescue the horses and their bloodlines from the chaos of the war. That rescue succeeded, and the breed endures. Graceful, historic, and hard-won, the Lipizzaner is living proof that a horse can be trained into a genuine art form. But we are still not at number 1, because the final 2 horses on this list are unlike anything you have ever seen. Number 2. Akhal teke, Turkmenistan. From the harsh deserts of Turkmenistan in Central Asia comes a horse that quite literally appears to be made of metal. The akhal teke is one of the oldest and rarest breeds on the entire planet, with perhaps only a few thousand individuals left in the world, and it possesses a single feature that no other horse can match. Its coat has a natural, unmistakable, metallic shimmer. The secret lies in the structure of the hair itself. Each individual strand is unusually fine, and part of it is nearly transparent, so that when light strikes the coat, it passes into the hair and bounces back out with a glowing golden, silver, or bronze sheen. In direct sunlight, a golden akhal teke does not simply look shiny or well-groomed. It looks as though the animal has been dipped in molten gold, as though it is glowing from within. It is one of the most jaw-dropping sights in the natural world. For thousands of years, desert tribes bred these horses as prized war mounts and racing horses, valuing them above almost all other possessions. The akhal teke is lean, elegant, and superbly athletic, with tremendous stamina built for crossing vast stretches of burning sand with very little food or water. They are so deeply treasured in their homeland that the horse appears on Turkmenistan's national coat of arms and on its currency, a symbol of the entire nation. Rare, ancient, athletic, and glowing like precious metal, the akhal teke is often called the most beautiful horse in the world. And yet, incredibly, there is still one more breed that many people place above even this golden desert horse. Number 1. Friesian horse, Netherlands. And here it is, at number 1, the horse the world simply cannot stop calling the most beautiful ever bred, the magnificent Friesian of the Netherlands. If you have ever seen a photograph of a jet-black horse with a mane so long and thick it nearly sweeps the ground, running through morning mist, as though it belongs to another world entirely, then you have already seen the power of this breed. Native to the province of Friesland in the northern Netherlands, the Friesian is almost always solid, glossy black, without a single white marking to break the darkness, though a small star on the forehead is occasionally allowed. It carries a heavy, wavy mane and tail, along with the same silky feathering on its lower legs that gives it a noble, knightly, almost medieval appearance. And that look is no coincidence at all. Friesians carried armored knights into battle in the Middle Ages, powerful enough to bear the tremendous weight of a man in full armor, yet surprisingly agile and elegant in their movement. Like so many of the great breeds on this list, the Friesian came terrifyingly close to vanishing. In the early 20th century, the breed was reduced at one point to only a small handful of breeding stallions, and its recovery is one of the great rescue stories in the entire horse world. Today, thanks to that survival, the Friesian has become the horse that filmmakers and photographers reach for whenever they need pure, breathtaking drama on screen. Picture 1. Standing perfectly still at dusk. The black coat drinks in the fading light, the mane pours down the arched neck in waves, the feathers stir in the slightest breeze. Then it begins to move, and stillness becomes raw power, knees lifting high, neck curved, the whole animal seeming to float across the earth. Elegant enough for the grandest arena, yet gentle enough to be trusted completely, the Friesian truly lives up to every legend told about it. When people close their eyes and imagine the single most beautiful horse on earth, more often than not, it is this black pearl of the Netherlands that they see. So there you have it, the 15 most beautiful and rare horses in the world. A journey that carried us from the golden halflinger of the Austrian mountains and the ancient fjord horse of Norway, all the way to the shimmering, metallic akhal teke of the desert and the legendary black Friesian of the Netherlands. Along the way we met horses the size of dogs, horses covered in leopard spots, horses with ears that curve until they touch, and horses that turn from black to white as they age. Each one of them is extraordinary, and each one tells a story about the places and the people that shaped it. So now we want to hear from you. Which of these horses amazed you the most? Was it the liquid gold of the akhal teke, the painted coat of the knabstrupper, the flowing feathers of the gypsy vanner, or the pure drama of the Friesian? Let us know your favorite down in the comments below, and tell us if we missed a breed you love. If you enjoyed this journey through the most incredible horses on the planet, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because there is so much more of the natural world's beauty still to explore together. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and we will see you again in the very next one.